Hey, what is up, mortals? It is JSatwekar here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 500 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this What If. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 41.3% of you guys are subscribed to us. So please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the story. During the days of Izuku's regeneration, he is plagued with the same recurring dream of Stain replacing All Might in the I am here pose. He can't tell if this should be alarming or be cast out of mind. Upon fully recovering, Izuku realizes he has no clear way to contact Stain, as it would have seemed awkward to exchange numbers. As he pulls his regular clothes on, he gazes over his hero costume. One of the red pouches is open, and upon inspection, he finds a folded note inside. Opening the note reveals a number and two simple words scrawled beneath, "Call me." Izuku ponders all the ways in which Stain can lend to his improving his quirk and technique, while also considering that his hero, All Might, wasn't a needless killer. To become the symbol of peace, to be like his idol, he couldn't just kill. It was practically taboo. And yet, to best Bakugo, perhaps learning Stain's methods weren't as bad as he figured. Izuku returns to UA and finds out about the first term final exam, and how it will be 2 students against a pro. As per the story, he is teamed with Bakugo and has to face All Might. The two might be proper rivals now, but this doesn't stop Bakugo from being his usual, "I don't need you, damn nerd," self. The passing and losing students happens as usual, and when it's time for Izuku and Bakugo to face off against All Might, Izuku is nervous, and yet somehow confident that they might have a chance. Bakugo knows that to face off against All Might means he would have to use every strategy. Every thought has to align with his body in order to conquer the man he held in highest regard. All Might is at the opposing end of the arena, standing in front of the exit sign, used to pass the test. Of course it wouldn't be an easy task, and since All Might was treating this exam as if he were a villain, he fires a Detroit smash to blow a clean line of sheer destruction towards the students. "Kachan, I'm not sure we can even beat All Might, let alone..." But he is cut short by Bakugo screaming, "Shut up, you damn nerd! I'll beat All Might myself! I don't need you here!" Bakugo takes off in the direction of All Might, using the damaged area as a sort of map to beeline toward the #1 hero. His explosions propel him swiftly and yet gracefully toward the man, as Izuku triggers full cowling 5% to take off after him. The speed difference is clear, with Bakugo being faster in air versus Izuku on land, but this doesn't stop Izuku from making chase. "Didn't I tell you to stay away, nerd? I can take care of this myself." Bakugo is looking back toward Izuku as a blur speeds to his opposing side. "Excuse me, but are you referring to beating me?" As Bakugo turns his head, All Might lands a fierce punch to Bakugo's back, sending him to the ground below with a heavy thud. Izuku cries out for his friend and rushes towards him. "Oh no you don't. I have a little something for you, young Midoriya." All Might grabs the young man and hurls him away, leaping up with a chunk of fence. He slams it down, pinning Izuku beneath it to watch seemingly helpless as All Might approaches Bakugo again. Picking him up, All Might grinned as his hand held Bakugo by the face. Bakugo's hands were grabbing at All Might, pelting him with multiple small explosions. This didn't seem to faze All Might though, as he slammed Bakugo in the stomach with a straight left punch. Bakugo flails backwards to the ground, and as he tries to lift himself up, he throws up. That punch has done some pretty heavy damage to the young hero in training. "What can I do? How do I stop All Might and save Kachan?" Izuku thinks as he begins to panic. "Clearly you haven't progressed enough to be a hero, to be outmatched so easily. It's almost depressing." All Might spit venom towards Bakugo, who has finally risen. The boy grits his teeth, hands popping with multiple small explosions. "And to refuse help from your teammate, even if it's someone you don't like or appreciate, a true hero can work well with anyone. I get that you're frustrated, because young Midoriya is becoming so much stronger thanks to my quirk, but you mustn't forget, he is your friend." These words cause Bakugo to propel himself toward All Might. "Like hell!" Bakugo is easily caught by All Might as the next sentence rings clear. "I don't care if I lose. I'll never take help from that wimp." During the heated exchange, Izuku's anger flares, and he finally breaks free of the fence piece holding his body down. As Bakugo leaps in for All Might, Izuku shoots between them, one fist hitting Bakugo in the cheek, the other hitting All Might square on the jaw. "Don't you dare say you'd rather lose!" The jaw shot takes All Might off guard for a split second, which is all Izuku needs to get his friend out of danger and into some alleyways to temporarily hide from the foe villain. Izuku was glad for his regeneration quirk now more than ever, it seemed, as the minute muscle tears over his body were rapidly mending. Looking to the clearly rattled Bakugo, he offered a small syringe to him. "Here, this will fix your cheek and stomach. We need to be in top form if we are going to beat All Might." Bakugo seems to glare and grit his teeth before he reluctantly takes the syringe and hits himself in the thigh, letting his body recover from the damage. "You're such a pain in the ass, you know that? You don't hit as hard, but it's unmistakable whose quirk you're using, you damn nerd." Izuku can't help but crack a grin at what his best friend says to him, as he stands and stretches his legs a bit. He doesn't know it just yet, but in the moment of saving Bakugo, Izuku had cranked his power to 8%, and since he wasn't fully ready to use it, had harmed his muscles. But that was easily mended with his natural regeneration. "All we have to do is get these cuffs on All Might, or pass the gate. Which do we go for?" Izuku asks genuinely, since he values Bakugo's insight on the matter. "If we're gonna pass the gate, I have a plan, but you gotta play your damn part." Izuku listens to the idea and chooses to go along, though he hopes his addition to the plan can still happen. He wants them both to cross the goal and pass as a team, not one hero pseudo-sacrificing another to escape for help. Meanwhile, All Might is suffering the drawbacks of having given Izuku his quirk, which is to say, his time at full muscle form is running low. "Hey, All Might!" Bakugo comes leaping from an alleyway, high and smirks, holding his gauntlet up. "Eat explosions!" Pulling the pin on his gauntlet, it fires all his stored sweat off, covering All Might in a pretty hefty blast. The pro hero stands firm, and when the dust settles, he grits his teeth, no longer smiling. "Young Bakugo, surely you know your plan will fail." All Might again attempts to anger the young hero, when a green flash flares behind him. It's Izuku, holding the other gauntlet. "We are a team, All Might!" Pulling the pin on this gauntlet, All Might's back is slammed hard with a second explosion. Izuku reels from the recoil of using Bakugo's equipment, making the remark that Kachan uses these? Before shooting past All Might toward the goal. Bakugo had taken off during the second explosion, toward the finish line. It was a mad sprint to the end, while All Might was stunned from the double barrage of explosions. "To hit me once, and surprise me with a second to reveal teamwork. I'm actually impressed, boys." All Might flexes his body, and with all the power he can muster, he takes off after the young heroes. "Kachan, how in the hell do you handle those gauntlets without hurting yourself?" Izuku asks, in a partially bewildered manner, sprinting on the ground as Bakugo is propelling himself on the air. "Don't give me that crap! You're just too weak to handle my power. Focus on getting to the finish. All Might won't be down for long." As if psychic, Bakugo is suddenly grabbed by his ankle and dragged to the ground, slammed by the foe villain. Izuku, being the way he is, and yet remembering the plan, tries to charge toward the finish. Bakugo is glaring up at All Might, who is keeping him pinned down by his face once again. "It's admirable to sacrifice yourself so another may live, but honestly, young Bakugo, your methods seem more suicidal than anything." Bakugo's body was suffering from the drawback of his quirk, but he kept firing weakened blasts, teeth sinking into the foe villain's hand. "I don't care if I break down. If I die, I will win, above all else." With those words, Bakugo unloaded all he had into an upward explosion, which envelops himself and All Might, causing Izuku to stop and look back in awe and fear. When the dust settles, All Might landed another heavy blow to Bakugo's stomach, rendering him unconscious this time. "Just sleep, young Bakugo. You did your best, but it just wasn't enough." Izuku watches in horror now, his body crackling with another surge of power. In hysterics over watching his beloved friend get smashed in such a way, Izuku takes another leap, but this time toward All Might. As All Might looks up, all he sees is a green and pink blur. Smash! Izuku screams the word at the top of his lungs, landing a fist into All Might's face again, drawing blood with the severity of the impact. The punch broke Izuku's arm, as it wasn't a controlled cowling punch. So with the other arm, he grabs Bakugo and hefts him onto his shoulder, taking off toward the exit. His pink aura is in overdrive, and the moment he can move his broken arm, he hits Bakugo with another small syringe, which would waken him and mend the drawback damage of his quirk. Izuku knew from experience that with this pink aura, he would be losing his strength swiftly, like with Gran Torino. So when Bakugo's eyes opened, Izuku screamed at him, "Get us past the finish!" Meanwhile, All Might has finally come back to himself from the shock of Izuku coming back like that. His first attempt to charge after them is cut short, and he coughs hard, blood painting his hand. Shit. He knew his time was up, and he couldn't make chase. It seemed these two young men had managed to outlast the #1 hero, until his own weakened quirk shut him off. Very impressive. I'll have to speak to young Midoriya after this and congratulate him. Bakugo reluctantly pulled Izuku onto his back, and just in time, since his pink and green aura had faded away, and the young green-haired boy was suddenly extremely drained of stamina. You useless nerd! Bakugo screamed as he propelled the two past the finish line, which blared a horn to let them and the other students know that they had passed. Bakugo ends up taking Izuku to the infirmary, where he is allowed to rest and properly recover from the bout with All Might. Recovery Girl remarks how well his body is mending on its own, to the point that she doesn't feel she has to help him at all. Meanwhile, All Might is standing nearby in his weakened form, a prideful smile upon his lips. You're doing it, young Midoriya. You're taking my quirk and becoming a splendid hero. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer of this video and editors for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out, mortals. Have a fantastic day.